Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and for today's video I'm here with yet another tag response, and the tag in question is top 10 singular movies. So I've been tagged once again by Sean Urshan, so Sean, thanks a lot for tagging me. I'm really looking forward to doing this tag response. It's a great one, but it's extremely difficult. So what the criteria and the rules for this particular tag are: you can only mention your top 10 favourite singular movies. So what that means is the movies in question cannot have a sequel or sequels or a remake. So they just basically have to be one-off standalone movies. So yeah, that's the rules and criteria, and as I'm sure you're well aware of, this was extremely difficult for me to come up with just 10 movies. A lot of this really came down to my personal favourites. What movies can I watch over and over again and not really ever get bored of, and just limiting it to 10 was extremely difficult. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with the 10 that I've come up with. They're not necessarily my top 10 all-time favourite movies, but in terms of singular films, they're definitely 10 of my favourites overall. So I've decided to make this video a little bit more interesting and mix things up a little bit. So we're going to be talking about I'm going to show 5 horror movies and 5 non-horror movies, just to mix it up a little bit, because I'm not just a horror fan. I love movies in general, and if I'm being completely honest, a lot of my all-time favourite movies aren't even horror films. So yeah, with that being said, let's get started. These aren't really in any particular order except for my number one pick. So we'll kick things off with a horror title, and we'll go with Hounds of Love. This movie, in my opinion, is extremely underrated. It's an Australian horror film, serial killer movie based on true events from the 80s. And this one is amazing, especially from a character standpoint. The characters within this film are so realistic. As I was watching this, I genuinely felt like I was there with the characters, experiencing all the emotions that were going on. So Hounds of Love, absolutely incredible film. The next one, sadly, I don't really hear anyone ever really talk about, and it's a shame because it's one of the best 90s movies ever, and just one of the best movies of all time. That's The War with Kevin Costner and Elijah Wood. This is an absolutely fantastic drama / family film. It covers so much within this film: bullying, post-traumatic stress from war situations, and racial issues as well. Just, yeah, an absolutely incredible film. I absolutely love this one a lot. So if you've never seen this one, highly recommend it. Next we have Gasm, which is an absolutely phenomenal heavy metal / horror movie / splatter movie from New Zealand, with some good comedy elements thrown in for good measure. This movie is just a lot of fun, and I've watched this movie a lot, so definitely one of my favourites. Next up is a classic, needs no introduction, The Amazing Stand By Me, the best coming of age story ever made. Absolutely amazing film. Another one that doesn't really need too much introduction, amongst slasher fans at least, and that is The Burning. Had to put a slasher within this list, and I decided to choose The Burning. Absolute classic, love this one. The next one we have here is my favourite Australian movie of all time, and that's the amazing 80s film BMX Bandits. If you haven't seen this one, this is basically the Australian version of The Goonies. It's about a group of 3 teenage BMX enthusiasts, and they basically get tangled up with some criminals. Really good. It's a lot of fun. Very similar to The Goonies, but obviously Australian and BMX bikes. But yeah, this is 80s goodness at its best. So that's BMX Bandits. Love it. The next one is one of my favourite horror films of all time. I can watch this one over and over, and that's The Monster Squad. What can I say? This is an absolute classic movie. Covers the universal monsters really, really well. Absolutely love it. Next up we have one of my all-time favourite movies, period, my favourite sci-fi film, and this was actually one of the very early memories that I have of watching a movie for the first time, and that is E.T. I cannot count the amount of times that I've seen this film. I've seen it so many times, growing up on renting out the VHS, then purchasing the DVD, then the Blu-ray, and then the 4K release, and pretty much every time this is televised I watch it, because the television version always has the guns in it, not the walkie-talkies, and I definitely prefer that version. But this is an absolute classic. As I said, I've seen this countless times, and no matter how often I watch this movie, the ending still gets to me. So that is E.T. Absolute masterpiece in my opinion. This is definitely my favourite standalone horror film, and that's Bad Taste. I've talked about this movie a lot on my channel before, so I'm not really going to spend too much time on it. To me, this is an absolute masterpiece of splatter horror. Low budget, done perfectly in my opinion. I'm sure most of you have seen this. You know what this movie is all about, but to me this blends everything I love about the horror genre perfectly. It's got good comedy elements. I love the setting and location. The characters are a lot of fun. The storyline's good. The effects are good, and it has some really, really over-the-top, outrageous gore sequences as well. So yeah, that's Bad Taste. There was actually talk that they wanted to make a sequel to this, or sequels, but obviously that never happened. So yeah, that is Bad Taste. And last, but certainly not least, my favourite movie of all time is this little amazing movie right here, The Goonies. Like E.T., one of my most watched movies of all time. I've seen this movie countless times. I grew up on it, rented out the VHS, used to watch it every time it was on TV, then purchased the DVD and Blu-ray releases. It'd be pretty cool if this got a 4K release at some point. But yeah, there's not really much to say about this film. I'm sure everyone out there has seen it. I love this movie. It's my favourite film of all time. So that's The Goonies. Alrighty, so there you go. That was my response to the top 10 singular movies tag. This was a very difficult list to come up with, but I'm happy with the 10 titles that I have chosen. So guys, let me know what you think of the movies that I have chosen within this tag response. What are some of your favourites that I have talked about within this video? And now it is my turn to tag some people. So the following people you have been tagged, if you could do a response to this video or this tag, that would be awesome. So Adam Paul Beaumont, YouTube Reviews, Horrific Nightmares JM, Andrew's Crypt, The Horror Man, and The Last Shoegazer. Guys, you've all been tagged. If you could do a response, that would be awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Sean, once again, thank you for tagging me. I hope you've enjoyed the video, everyone, and thank you for watching.